3 minutes, and then we'll see if we want a third round. Mr. Schmidt, industry stats show that Google runs between 65 and 70% of all Internet searches in the U.S. done on computers and about 95% on mobile devices, and has over 75% of all search advertising revenue in the United States under common antitrust standards. This kind of a market share is considered to constitute monopoly power. Does Google recognize that as a monopolist or a dominant power? Special rules apply that there is conduct that must be taken and conduct that must be refrained from.
We certainly understand the role that we play in information, and we also understand the proper role of government and your role and so forth to inspect what we're doing. We're satisfied today that the things that we're doing are well within the both legal and philosophical bounds of what we're trying to do, because we answer the question based on, in a competitive market, we're very focused on consumers. So the answer, Senator, is we very much understand the role that we have to play, and we're kept honest all the time, and not just by your good graces, but also that of the press and the many other people who look at what we do.
But you do recognize that in the words that are used in antitrust kind of oversight, your market share constitutes monopoly, dominant, special power, dominant firm, monopoly firm. You recognize you're in that area.
I would agree, Senator, that we're in that area. Again, with apologies because I'm not a lawyer, my understanding of monopoly findings is it's actually a judicial process. So I'd have to let the judges and so forth actually do such a finding. From our perspective, we see ourselves as having a special responsibility to debate all the issues that you're describing with us now. We do understand it.
Ms. Creighton, what's your view? If Google is considered to be a monopoly or a dominant firm in Internet search, is there conduct that it may not engage in order to maintain its market dominance?
Senator, respectfully, I do not believe that Google does have monopoly power, and I'd like to explain why. So what we're looking for in the antitrust laws in terms of whether or not a company is a monopoly is really whether it has monopoly power. And the way we look at that is whether or not the company, if it were to raise price or to exclude competitors, is there something that would cause consumers to be unable to switch? And so the company basically can get away with that. We sometimes can use market shares as an indicia of whether or not there's monopoly power, but the real question is there this ability to foreclose competition or to raise prices? When I was at the FTC, what I would be looking for was not only very high market shares sustained over a very long period of time, usually in the 80s, high 80s. I'd also be looking for it to have been over many years, and I'd be looking for indication that consumers, there's some structural problem that causes consumers to be unable to switch. Here instead what we actually see, and I thought Senator Klobuchar, I'm sorry she's not here, but her sort of testing of how Google and Bing ranked her name while she did the quick search just while we were here is really the key to why, in my view, Google does not have monopoly power. Each of you right now can test whether or not you like Google's results, and if you don't like them, it's free and instantaneous to try someone else's results. And so if you were to enter Yelp and Google didn't return Yelp at the top of the search results, I doubt you'd ever come back to Google again. You'd be so mad. And so it's when we're looking for whether or not a company has monopoly power, that I respectfully as an antitrust enforcer, and I'm sort of wearing an antitrust enforcer hat as opposed to my sort of representing Google hat, I wouldn't say that you should trust Google. I think the question is whether you can trust the market or whether there are some kinds of impediments to the way that the market is working that cause consumers to be unable to switch.
Thank you.